Good morning. All right, this is it, countdown. All right, so, I got up early this morning, as I do, and before I teach, and I had to think, what are the, 30 most important things I have to say to you before I send you on your way? I got back to this. These are the things I really feel you need to know. You have to know. These are jewels. You're going to put them in your pocket, and you have to know this, given the world we live in today. First, I need to remind you, and you need to remind yourself, that, what is a contemporary spiritual practice now? What is your contemporary spiritual practice? So think about, if I were your spiritual director. Yeah, I know, run for cover. My instructions to you would be that when you rise in the morning, you suit up in your soul as if it were your survival system, as if it were your survival suit, that you think of your soul as your survival suit. It is not, your soul doesn't belong to a religion. You want a religion, have a religion. I can recommend them. I know them all. But your soul has no religion any more than God does. So let's be very clear here. And I love religion. And I mean no disrespect to any of them. Trust me, I do not. But the soul is the source of your inspiration, your survival. It speaks to you. It is your immune system. It is your survival suit. I want you to think of yourself as getting into a suit that looks like latitude and longitude. That you suit up and you animate. And you're now in a holy field of grace that is active. It is active. It speaks to you. It communicates with you. Your soul is an active agent of communication. It receives communication, and you are a microchip that's part of the macro, and your microchip is an active communication agent in the inner net. Inner net that works exactly like the internet. And we are linked to each other. And in keeping with the wondrous mystical laws, what is in one is in the whole. All life breathes together. This is your law. And in keeping with that law, as you heal yourself, you are healing the whole. This is the law now. This is your micro-earth. You are a micro-earth. So as you heal your earth, you are healing the whole. You no longer think in terms of, I have to recycle a bottle. You are recycling yourself. You are an active life agent. How you treat everything, how you think, and the most powerful tool you have is not finance. It's thought. It's intention. And because it's what you do with the resources. Love is not your most powerful force. It's choice. You have to choose to be loving. Choice comes before everything. Choice. First, you have to choose love, then be loving. The most powerful tool you have is choice. And you never relinquish your choice to anything or anybody. And that requires a hell of a lot of self-esteem. And it's where Buddha says, this is your training. And your training is that you have to become so astute at the illusions coming at you that every illusion is going to want a chunk of the power in you. This is the name of the game down here. Every illusion is going to want a chunk of the power in you. Even commercials. Even commercials on TV are after a power in you. If you don't want to age, get this vitamin. If you don't want this, get that. And as you sit there watching these, you're hemorrhaging right in front of the screen. If you don't want to fall apart, get this. If you don't want to be useless after 50, get Botox. Your face is your fortune. Every single thing someone will say to you is a test of whether or not you hold your power. Everything. Everything. What someone says to you. I would never be caught in those shoes. Right? I would never. And you have to hold your center. Hold your center. And tell yourself, I love the Taoist teaching. That's a spectacle, and I'm not going to be caught up in it. We are now living in between. Here's a big jewel. Big jewel. Big jewel. This one's got to sink in. What makes us so vulnerable right now is that we're coming, here, where's my, here, stop. We're coming from a time when we were held together by tribal thought. We had tribal thought that held us, church, synagogue, community, gender. We were held together by tribal thoughts that we wrapped ourselves in, that told us what reality was. And we wrapped ourselves in there with like saran wrap. So we didn't really have to think about what reality was. We were wrapped in cellophane. And that did the thinking for us. I grew up thinking Catholics go to heaven, but everybody else didn't. All of us grew up in some tribal thought forms. And those tribal thought forms did the thinking. And if you examine a tribal thought form, it's connected to choice. It does the choosing for you. It puts you on automatic pilot. And therefore, because you believe this, it follows that these are the choices you make from that. If a tribe tells you it's not possible that you could hear those, that a saint could talk to you. It's not possible that you could love someone from the same sex. It's not possible that you could be born into a body you don't belong in. It's not possible. It's not possible. It would follow that your decisions are already made for you, because that's how you were brought to think. If you were taught from the time you were little that there's no such thing as the color blue, I assure you, you wouldn't see the color blue. You wouldn't recognize it. You wouldn't recognize it. If I removed certain fundamental words from you. My next book is called The Power of Holy Language. And it's a study on what's happened to us because certain critical words are no longer part of our common parlance. We do not use the word conscience anymore. We use the word consciousness. Consciousness doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? It has no meaning whatsoever. Nothing, zero. It can mean anything you want. You're conscious because you recycle. You're conscious because you eat organic. But there's nothing in that word that connects you to the sacred or to a sense of moral reasoning or moral conscience or ethical reasoning. Nothing. Nothing. I have never, in my 35 years and teaching in 30 countries, 30-some whatever, had anyone come into one of my workshops and said, I'm here because I'm suffering from a crisis of conscience. I know what is right, and I keep choosing otherwise, and it is conscious. I've never once. And yet, when I look at people, I know that where their anguish comes from, where their inner conflict comes from, is not their childhood, but because they are living a constant flow of acts of self-betrayal. Constant. They hear, don't. They know what it is to say to somebody when they say, will you keep this a secret? Will you hold this in your heart because my heart is breaking and I can't sustain this anymore. Will you carry this in your heart for me and hold it in privacy? And the person says yes, all the while knowing, who can I call with this? And use it as a way to say, see how close we are, but don't you tell anybody. Knowing full well they're going to break their word and betray the person, the very person they're looking at, while saying, yes, I'll keep it a secret. Knowing full well they are consciously going to betray that person. While giving their word. And these accumulative acts of betrayal are crises of the soul. They're crises of the soul. And while you think you can get away with blaming your parents for this character defect, this is a personal choice. And it fractures your soul. It fractures your conscience. And it makes it impossible to go back to how I opened up this workshop. It makes it impossible for you to have trust and faith in yourself. And if you lack trust and faith in yourself, I assure you that having trust and faith in God is next to impossible. And that within you, within the depth of your soul, Hannah, are you okay, honey? Within yourself starts vibrating a sense that life itself is not a trustworthy journey. That life itself is not a trustworthy journey. But you're the missing link. And the word conscience is not there. And when you say to yourself, I wonder what's wrong. I wonder what the problem is. You don't have the word to identify it. And so the option is you start tumbling into depression. The only place you can go, you start tumbling into depression. Because the absence of the word you need to access what is wrong with me. It's a crisis of conscience. It's not a bad childhood. It's a crisis of conscience caused by endless acts of self-betrayal. Are you with me here? Okay. Now your soul is that part of you that says, like a metronome, don't you consider betraying yourself. That's going to stop. That's going to stop. And it becomes increasingly difficult to do because the soul is the instrument in you that craves, and here's the operative word, congruence. Becoming congruent. And congruent is this, when you become vertical. When thought, feeling, when you say, what should I do here? And guidance says, do this. And you recognize you have gotten your instruction, and thought goes into form, goes into action, just like this. And you don't have you aren't an inner obstacle course. You're not meant to be an obstacle course. You're meant to be able to, where your thought goes into your mind, so it takes, where your intuitive guidance, where's my, here, where your intuitive guidance goes into your mind in order to find language so you can interpret the light and language it. Give it words. So your intellect says, what is this, what's the data coming through this light? Okay, that data says go, dot, dot. Like the time I walked into the farmhouse in New Hampshire, and I walk in and boom, I get go home. So that light contained the message, found the word go, found the word home. I went straight to the phone. I didn't even take my coat off. I picked up the phone and I called my mother and I said, I need to get out now. I'm not sure if I'm going to move to Europe, England, but I need to leave now. I got the message. And I hung up the phone, and then I called the woman who took care of my farmhouse, and I said, will you come and help pack? Hung up, picked up, rented a U-Haul, hung up, picked up, got my brother, called the travel agent, flew him out with another guy from the trading firm that David knows, and hung up, went and saw the people I rented the farm from, and said, I'll be gone on Friday. And this was Monday. Friday, packed up, took my cat Mousetrap, my beloved little cat, and said, will you care for Mousetrap? I can't bring her to the city.
It's me, I'm sorry.
They took Mousetrap for me, and I was gone. Move at the speed of light. That's how you move. The object is become congruent. Now I'm going to talk to you about that because it's really, really, really important that you recognize, we have to stay till tomorrow, that you recognize, that's how much I have to teach, that you're on the map of becoming congruent. So you're receiving data, you're receiving guidance at the speed of light now. You are part of the inner net. You have to really get that you are connected on the inner to the whole of life, that connection has been plugged in. I believe you mentioned, I'm sorry, is your name Kate? I'm talking to, yes.
It's Kathy.
Kathy, okay.
That's with the C.
Kathy mentioned to me yesterday, just in passing, that she could feel fracking beneath her feet. Now, it is my experience, and this is what I put up here, is that we are becoming more tuned to the vibration of nature. And that is part of our expanding immune system. So you have a personal immune system, and you have an impersonal. And the impersonal immune system is part of the soul. Do you hear something? What is that? Thank you. It's part of the soul. And I need to describe the soul's immune system to you because you need to know how that operates. Just like in the just like in these days, in the old days, where we were protected by the collective thought that we found in tribal religion. There's now collective thought in the psychic field. It is mirrored. There's archetypal, and then there's the collective the collective whole. Okay? There's our collective soul. And that's animating. Now, what you might well be experiencing, so you have two immune systems. You have a micro and you have a macro. Now, as our global community is opening, as our global community is now plugging into itself on the internet, we are getting wired to collectively sense each other and evolve together, not just physical evolution, but archetypal psychic evolution. We are literally sharing, communicating, sharing the evolutionary, the psychic health, our collective psychic health, our collective psychic stress, our collective psychic, just like we are sharing on the internet what is happening, I assure you, on the collective psychic internet. One of the phenomenon that's happening is the emergence of psychoenergetic disorders like autism, like they're neurological disorders primarily. They're disorders that I believe, and let me emphasize, Carolyn senses. So you, if this does not feel right to you, highlight this part. But my sense is that as we are adjusting to a different relationship to time and space, I want you to think in your own life, just in your own life, that every one of us is having experiences of shifting. Time seems to be going faster with what's happening in our personal life. Sometimes, and I want you to become very astute about this in your life, that sometimes that perception occurs in how you are able to understand somebody more astutely than you were before. The depth to which you're able to understand somebody, that before you might have stopped at just observing their external behavior. Come over here. First, second, and third. Just their behavior. But now, whether or not you want to, you seem to be able to go through their behavior and into the deeper, invisible world of sensing their motivation. The world they don't reveal through their clothing, through their behavior. That in fact, the loudest language you're beginning to perceive is the one not spoken. The one not spoken. The one that is symbolic. The one that is energetic. The one that comes through the circuitry of your hologram that lights up, that receives data, that then is interpreted by your 8th, 9th, and 10th chakras, and then is sent in, and it comes in at the speed of light. That regardless of what you are seeing and hearing, you are understanding something faster. And sometimes the data comes in before you walk into the physical door, so that you might have the experience of deja vu, what you call deja vu. Have I been here before? No. What's happened is the energy has simply met you before you walked into the form. Oh, I get it. I was getting this ahead of, like receiving the file before you got to the, what do you call it, meeting. Because energy, and this is how time and space is readjusting itself. Time and space readjusting itself. Now you're going to have more and more and more experiences of that. Because this is what's happening now. And I please remember this conversation so that you never say to yourself, and here's another jewel, I forbid you to ever say to yourself, I must be going mad. I forbid it. You are experiencing the relationship now between energy, consciousness, and physical melting together. The merging of mystical consciousness with rational consciousness. The way the soul now is consciously merging with your rational intellect, they're forming a partnership. They are not aggressive with each other. Your intellect is, your rational earth intellect is absolutely at your disposal. But your mystical intellect, let's put those two words together. Your mystical resource, your mystical intellect, your soul's intellect is a cosmic resource that utilizes a vast archive of eternal truth. Your brain goes for knowledge. Your soul draws truth. Together, it is a resource that empowers you beyond anything you have ever experienced. The union of truth and knowledge is like nothing else. This is what real self-esteem is about. Self-esteem is not about screaming at someone, don't cross my boundary. That's a good baby step, but that's not the real. The real self-esteem is the capacity to be able to close your eyes in front of someone when they're talking to you and say, I'll be right back. And put up your screen so that no matter what they say to you, no matter what absurdity they say to you, no matter what fear they come at like a tsunami, no matter what, you can stand in your orbit of your soul, the grace field of your soul, knowing that you have experiences that nobody else has. And they are totally real. But that you have traveled now to a place where you are in a one-on-one dialogue with the cosmos. You are now one-on-one. You are now in a private tutorial. You're no longer in eau de toilette or even cologne. You've entered perfume, the realm of private tutorial. And when you get to that stage, the quality of self-esteem you need to have is titanium. Titanium. You cannot afford to live in the realm where every time you have an instruction, you run and say, do you think it really happened? Do you think it really happened? You cannot be that fragile. You absolutely cannot be that fragile. You cannot. You have got to become so intensely sure of yourself that when you get an instruction like stand by that person, find a reason to touch, find a reason, get over there. That you know in that instant, healing grace is, you're channeling a grace that would blow them out of the water, and you're being used to vessel it, to dilute it. And you know, all right, now get out. And you don't leave your calling card. See what I did? Because it's not you and you know it, but you don't even have to explain. Let me explain how it's not really me. Shut up, you idiot. They don't even understand that. Get out. Get off the train. Go back in the kitchen and peel potatoes. Because you still don't get it. You still don't get it. This is such a crazy statement, but even this life isn't about us. It's about life. It's just about life. And it's about how big can we get to care for life itself before we think that life's supposed to care about us. We are servants of this. It's not meant to serve us. We're here for such a brief period of time. We are simply caretakers of each other in this place. Get the rules. Get the rules. Those are the rules. And when we find people along the way that need our help, slow down and take care of them. Slow down. Whoever they are, slow down and take care of them. Because what is true is a rising tide lifts all of us, lifts all ships. That's a law. That's a law. That's the law of the heart. That's the law of our aquatic field. If we go down together. And what this time is about is that we are being linked. We are linked together now. The internet, when you look at the internet now, you think internet. Because that's all of us. And that's how we work. And every time you hit send, every time, you think, look at that. With the push of a button, I am now instantly communicating, and that's the speed of your thought. And there's no difference between the speed of your email and the speed of your thought. There is no difference except that this one makes sense to you. But your soul works faster in exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. So now you need to understand that the new theology is organic. God's gone organic. So that you understand the laws are the mystical laws, the law of gravity. So that every choice you make, now you think in terms of gravity, gravitas, to take it to the grave. So from now on, I want you to be very, 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 very selfish about only one thing. Only one thing. And that's your power. The power of creation that God has given you. You become so selfish about that. It's your treasure. I want you to become miserly. Miser, you're a miser now. You're a soul miser. Every single choice you make, you run through this. Is this worth the power of my soul? Is this worth investing my soul in? And you ask yourself, am I this petty? Am I this petty? So just for fun, I'm going to hit a pause button. We only got hours left. Now we know each other as if we're nude in a bathtub. Come on. I'm your spiritual director. We have no secrets. Secrets are bad. You are all entitled to privacy. We need privacy to thrive, but secrets means you're up to something. Just remember that. So now then, how petty can you be? That's my question. Out with it. Come on, talk to me.
I can be very petty.
Okay, good. I feel like I've got a jack in the box in the corner. Kathy, I love you. You are a treasure. You are a holy treasure. You really are. Thank you for your openness and just you.
I know I am pretty honest.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
people a lot.
Yeah.
And I say all the things that you said we're not supposed to say to anybody, and there is no king by mine.
Yeah.
I can be Tom Petty and break your heart.
Oh. Now I have to admit, I didn't see that one coming. It just. All right. Let's play ball, Scarecrow. Alrighty then. Batter up. All right, come on. How petty can you be? And give me an example. I'm not asking you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 because I can do that for you. I want you to give me examples of how petty you can be. Go. The way in which you are.
I can be especially petty with people that I tell myself that I'm trying to protect myself from, but I know that I meet them energetically with already expecting them to be bad and already put them in that negative hole. And I know that, and I haven't been able to completely change that yet, but it's like.
No, I'm not interested in changing. I just want to know an example.
Well, so like with my sister, my oldest sister,
Yeah.
I've developed a certain,
How fast can you tell me this?
I automatically, it's not what I do to her physically or even verbally, because I never get the chance, but it's my own emotional pettiness of putting her up as the bad person immediately.
Oh, that's
and
good.
anything she does to me, I therefore am the victim.
Okay, good.
So-
And it doesn't matter. You just. All right, who can beat that? Going once, going twice. Give me. You don't go. Yeah. Who can beat that? Let's play who can beat the petty.
I am so petty with my mother. She only has to say one word out of place, and I'm on her like a leopard pouncing.
Like a duck on a June bug.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Very.
It doesn't matter the word, does it?
Nah.
Okay, that's good. I like it. Okay, good. Go. Can you beat that? Anyone can beat that? Petty, go.
I am extremely petty about how the dishwasher gets loaded in my house.
That's good. Got it. I love it.
Drives me nuts.
All right, drives you nuts. It's a great control issue. Go. Let's go.
I am too important to sit in traffic or to stand in line in a restaurant.
All right, how many? How many takers? All right, okay, let's go. Who else? Come on. How do you lose it? Go. Wait a minute, I need a microphone because I don't want to miss this.
So like I was raised in a large family, and my husband is the only child, and I tell him he has an only child syndrome because he doesn't seem to see others like I was raised to. So my oldest, my stepson, still acts like an only child. And so I see more fault in him than I do in my own two children. And he's 25, and I think he should be out of the house, and my husband doesn't. And so it's
Yeah.
so it's all about kind of. I think I see things better because I was raised to see others, whereas he wasn't. Kind of. So in some ways, I think it's petty. I just need to love him as he
In
is.
some ways, I think you have a point, but leave me out of it.
Right.
I'm afraid I don't like
It's a
your
battle.
example. Anybody else? Leave her alone. Go away. All right, go.
I'm petty about financial security. It's always in the back of my mind, no matter what is happening, no matter what service I want
I don't
to
think that's
provide.
petty.
It's not.
Petty. Let me define what I mean here. But okay, you are hyper about that.
Yes.
That's a constant issue. But you know what I mean by petty? And I'm emphasizing this because I want to go small before I go big, because small is big. Because it's the small things that cause you to lose power